Yo, what's going on, folks? Welcome to Icopod. I'm your host, Be Good, and we are doing the call-ins tonight. Decided I'd switch up the regular exit strategy, and as opposed to having somebody come on, I'm going to just open the lines and allow people to call in. And I want to talk to theists, especially Christian theists. If you believe that the Bible is a trustworthy guide to what's real, what's true, what's worth believing, what deserves our devotion, our faith, um, I would love for you to call in so we can chop it up. I am a former Christian. I was a Christian rapper slash evangelist slash apologist for 30 plus years with the groundbreaking Christian rap group, The Cross Movement. Went by the name of Fanatic for about 30 years. And about 10 years ago, I stumbled upon some information that caused me to really question the answers that I got from Christianity. And since that time, I've been questioning and I've been deconstructing, and deconstructing led to an inevitable deconversion. And so maybe you're on the deconstruction path and you think there's a way to save your faith. Or maybe you think, fine, deconstruct, but it's not really that serious. The Bible is still worth believing. It's still trustworthy. If that's you, I'd love to talk with you. I don't necessarily want to argue. It's okay if we debate. We're going to disagree. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. But I would love to talk to some theists tonight about why we believe what we believe. And as you guys come into the chat, you know how we do here on Icopod. Greet somebody in reason's name. I'm going to go to Facebook and make sure I post the link so people can actually get onto the stream with me. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. I just did this the other day. All right, so I got to actually go into these and go live on each platform. So give me a second. Okay, so it says I'm live on Instagram. It says I'm live on Facebook. All right, so how come when I go to Facebook, I don't see the live? This is all brand new to me, so y'all bear with me as I get this under control here. If you're checking this out on Instagram, the link to join me is in the description, not description. The link on Instagram is actually in my bio. So go to my bio and you'll be able to see the link. If you're on YouTube, let me go ahead and post the link on YouTube for those watching it there. I'll put it in the chat. So the link to join me is in the chat, but I'm also going to put it on the actual video on YouTube. Give me a sec to do that. All right, so I don't want the chat. I want the actual comments. Give me a second to find those. No, I don't want the chat. How did I always forget how to do this? How do I go to the actual comments under the video? While you're here in the meantime, make sure you like, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell so you can know when I'm actually on. How do I post the link in the comments? I did this last time. I don't remember how I did it. Well, it's at least in the chat for now, and I'll keep posting. I'll keep reposting it in the chat. And as soon as I see it on Facebook, I will actually post it there as well. But what's going on? What's up, Pragmatic Crystal? How you be? My unique Moniques. Good evening, everyone, and welcome in reason's name. Indeed. Saw Without Faith up there above. Saying hello, fam. Daryl Williams, salutations. Indeed. All right, I'm just trying to post these links for people so that they can come and join us. But I'm not seeing it on Facebook. I wonder why not. Because it says here that I'm actually live on Facebook. View on Facebook. So maybe I can post it there. I'll post the link there. All right, so I can drop a comment on Facebook. Boom, there it is. Okay. I don't want to be in the live chat, so let me see. I know y'all, this is like just house cleaning stuff right now. I'm trying to get to the actual comments under the video so I can always have the not the overview comment, that's the lives. So soon I'll have this down packed and I won't have to do all this at the beginning of each stream. But that just happens to be the way it is right now. Okay, now I see the comments. Boom. But it looks like it's coming into the same place as the live. Okay, well, at least it's there. And hopefully, if, like I said, if you're on Instagram, go to my bio on Instagram and you'll see where you can get the link to join me. Particularly, I want to talk to theists. I want to talk to Christian theists. And I posted the title of this is "The Bible is Full of Lies." I don't say that to be inflammatory, but I do say that because I think you all need to defend. You all need to defend this thing. When I was a Christian, if somebody would have tried to tell me the Bible is full of lies and they were telling other people that the Bible is full of lies and those people were defending it, I was an apologist. The apologist's job is to defend the faith, to offer a reason for why I believe this, for the hope that I have. What is it, 2 Peter 3:15? So yeah, I'm making a claim that I believe I can substantiate, I can back up, I can ground this claim that the Bible is full of lies. And if you think that I'm mistaken or you think that I'm, I can be challenged, then please join me in the chat. I already got one caller wanting to join. I'm just going to drop a warning right now. We spoke the other day. I'll give you the ground rules. These are the ground rules for anybody that I bring on. I want to have a respectful conversation. And if I mute you, I'm not going to mute you. I'm not going to be a jerk to you. I'm not going to mute you just so that I can dunk on you and you can't respond. If I mute you, it's only because you are not letting me speak. And I'm trying to explain something or answer something or pose something. And if you're talking over me, I'm going to mute you. If you unmute yourself before I tell you to go, then that's once again you trying to talk over me. I'm going to just kick you from the channel. So I will bring you on. If I mute you, wait for me to tell you, okay, now you can go, to unmute yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to go. All right. And so I'm going to bring on the first caller, who was the last caller the last time I did this. And let me just say this too. I'm doing this. I'm going to be doing this several times a week. I'm going to be back on tomorrow. I'm trying to see whether or not I get a better audience during the day or in the evenings. Because when I jumped on 2 days ago during the day, I had people on Facebook saying, why do you always get on live when we're at work? So I'm turning my Thursday night show, my exit strategy show, into a call-in just for tonight. I want to see how it goes, but I'll be back on tomorrow during the day at some point, I believe. One more thing I should do before I bring anybody on, I should give a shout out to some of my favorite folks in the world. And if you don't know who I'm talking about supporters of Ichabod, all the Patreon supporters. If your name is on the screen, your name is engraven in my heart. Even if you're not supporting currently, but you started off supporting and you came upon hard times, or hey, I can't support right now, I'm going to get back to supporting you in the future. Or you've never supported and you're waiting to be able to have the funds to support. Don't feel like, oh, I got to support this brother. He's not going to eat if I don't. No, I'm going to eat. I'm fine. Your support, what it does is it helps me realize that this is valuable to you. And if it's valuable to you, I'll keep doing it. Otherwise, I would just fly off into the sunset and live my life. Matter of fact, there were Christians who said to me, like, why spend your time doing this? If you don't believe, just go away. I did in a lot of ways. I've gone away. But then other ways I've stuck around because I realized it's valuable to people to have someone like me who believed for as long as I did, as deeply as I did, who've now deconverted. It's helpful for other people to see someone like me still around. And so if you show your love, you're giving $5 a month, $10 a month, or there are folks who even give more, it helps me realize that this is valuable. And so I'm going to stay available doing these kinds of things. So thank you to all of the Patreon supporters. The link is in the chat and it will be in the description of the video if you're not a Patreon supporter and you would like to be. All right. So that being the case, I'm going to go in and bring on Imperious back onto the program. You were my last caller on Tuesday. We'll bring you back on and see how it goes.
I think you're confusing minuscule religions to the only faith.
Hold on. Imperious.
Mm-hmm.
You just jump right in.
Yes.
Like with no hello, no how you doing.
No, respect is earned. You got to earn my respect first.
Okay, I'm removing you from the program. No, I don't have to earn your respect. I'm kicking you from my studio. Hell no. You're not going to come on my program and tell me I have to earn your respect. If you're calling into my program, you damn well respect me or you don't get to be on my program. I'm not here to be a jerk to anyone. I said this last Tuesday when I was on. I'm not going to be cursing people out. I'm not going to be talking over people. You probably don't know who I am. I've done conversations with Christians for the last year on my program, on my channel. And when I have Christians on, I highly respect them. So much so that my atheists and former Christian watchers say, hey, why do you let the Christians talk so much? I respect everyone. I don't care who you are. But you're definitely not going to come on my platform and tell me that I need to earn your fucking respect. I don't know who you are. I don't even know that I should respect you, but I'm going to. So if I'm giving you that kind of courtesy, you better damn well respect me or you will not come on my program. Don't know what the fuck you think this is. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. Like, that's crazy talk. I got to earn your respect. The hell are you talking about? My gosh. Oh my gosh. Is this really the same dude? You're black. You got to earn my respect. Is that really you? Okay, so because I'm at such a stage in this that I don't have the software yet to like find IP addresses and block people, but you definitely would be blocked if this is the same person, Imperious, telling me I'm black, so I've got to earn your respect. Bro, fuck you to the moon and back. That's crazy. But thank you for the super chat. If you're the same Imperious that just called, you can super chat as many times as you want. You will not be back on this platform until you learn some respect. So anybody else who wants to call in, I'm not going to give all my time to trolls, but yeah, definitely tap in and we will chop it up. Start with respect or we will end with your disrespect. That's just how it's going to go down. But yes, everybody in the chat, Elvis, what's going on? Elvis said, dude, a clown. We get trolls all the time. What can you do? But I definitely would love to talk to sincere theists who have some humility, even if you feel like your God is giving you the wherewithal to be able to know the hearts and minds of individuals. You still should come with some humility, I would think. But yes, if you're on Facebook, the link is in the chat. If you're on Instagram, the link is in my bio. If you are on YouTube, the link is in the live chat, and I will keep sharing it here in the live chat. And let me see if I can find a way to post it under the comments because I didn't do it a minute ago. Give me a second. Let me do that real quick. You know what's funny? I've only ever been in the last several years, I've only ever been racially disrespected when doing these types of call-in shows. The very first time I was on with Matt Dillahunty, unless you were watching it live, the very first time I was on with Matt Dillahunty, a caller called in and called me a nigger. And, Matt kicked him from the program and I guess they deleted that segment from the recording. And then here we go again. You got this guy feels like he has the ability to get on and tell me because I'm black, he doesn't have to respect me. Like, what the fuck is it about the internet that gives people this idea that you just are, invulnerable, and you can just say whatever stuff you would never say if you were face to face with somebody. Um, this really clown type shit. It really is. So even on YouTube now, I'm not even seeing the comment section. I'm only seeing the live chat. So I want to be able to post the link for people to be able to get on, but it's not showing me that right now. I only see the live chats. So I'm going to just keep posting it in the live chat. But you can copy that, put it in your URL, and you can actually come on live with me. In the meantime, if there are any atheists, agnostics, or even if you're struggling with yours, you're like, you don't necessarily know where you're going to land, but you are asking questions, and you would like to ask me some questions like, how do you know hell is not real? How do you know Jesus didn't rise? And you wanna just chop it up with somebody. We can even do that. You don't have to be the solid Christian wanting to defend your faith. If you want to call in and chop it up with somebody who has deconstructed, this will be that time, and I'm going to hang around. Whether the calls come in or not, I'll just vibe with folks in the chat. If you guys want to throw something in the chat, and we'll just kick it that way. But if you want to call in and defend why the Bible is not a book full of lies, I'd love to hear. I'd love to pitch you some of my, hey, here's a lie that we know. And we can chop it up. I got a caller coming in now. So that guy Imperious, I don't necessarily need to know your IP address. I actually can block you from the channel, but I don't know that I want to block you just yet. I would love for you to learn some humility, but I actually could block you from the channel. Let me see. Put user in timeout. Should I do that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm at least going to put you in timeout. So if you're the caller that just popped in, like, oh, you're calling under a different name, you're probably going to end up not being able to be on because I can ban or delete you. And look, as soon as I said that, the caller that was waiting just dropped. So that might be the same dude. Ban or delete you. I'm gonna ban you because that was wild as shit what you just said. Because I'm black, you don't have to respect me. Well, I've got to earn your respect. So you're blocked, you're banned, you're gone. The person that was just waiting, I'm not going to say your name in case you're not Imperious. If you realize that your name was on the screen and you didn't want your name on the screen, and you took it off because you're going to change that, that's fine. You can call back in. If you do call in, you don't have to give your name. You can change your screen name. You can have an alias. You don't have to show your face. You can turn your camera off so that all we do is hear your voice. If you want to be anonymous, you definitely can do that. You don't have to blow your cover if you're like, I don't want them to know that that this is me. So I got Vince in the queue. I'm about to bring you on. Vince, just so you know, your camera is off. If you want to change that, I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. So take a minute. If you want your name on, I'll keep your name on. All right, I'm bringing you on in a couple seconds, Vince. Here we go. Vince, what's happening?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Vince, you're not Imperious, are you?
I'm not Imperious. Far from it.
Okay. Are you a theist, atheist, agnostic? Where you at with the God question?
Yeah, I spent decades of my life as a fully believing Christian, and I'm fully deconverted now. So I guess atheist, agnostic labels are, I'm not quite sure yet.
How long ago did you let it all go?
I think I realized that I was totally gone maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but now looking back, I can see it's like when you watch a movie that has a twist at the end again. And so
now
I
you
look
go
back and I'm like, oh yeah,
I get it
right.
now. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think there were clues along the way. I didn't realize I was deconstructing, but that's so that
And
was
real
my
quick, if you
process.
don't mind, can you
Yeah.
just share two things? What was it that finally broke the camel's back for you that got you away? And are you out of the closet as an unbeliever, or people, or do people not know?
So the first question is difficult because the way I think of it is I think that I deconstructed slowly,
Mm-hmm.
but my realization, I remember the moment I realized, which was when a friend invited me and my wife over for dinner to kind of do a pitch for, they're kind of raising money for missions they were going on. And
Mm.
um, long story short, we had just went to a similar one a few months before, and I told the other guy, I was like, hey, I don't know where I am with faith, but I want to support my friends. Like,
Mm.
how can you pitch this to me as if I didn't believe any of this, hypothetically?
So
And
you tasked your Christian friend with pitching it to you without Christianity in the mix.
yes, yes. And he was like, hey, I respect that. He was like, here's how I would pitch this to, someone totally secular, and it was something I could get behind. He was helping people. I didn't agree with his core,
Yeah.
reason, but I got behind it. Anyway, a few months later, another similar situation happened, but this second time, the guy was like, this is not, this is about the gospel. This is
Yeah.
our
This is
core
not
thing is
humanitarian missions. This
right,
is
right,
evangelical missions.
right, and I don't know, something that night clicked with me of like,
Mm.
I don't believe that people need to be saved, and
Mm.
so it was kind of more of oh and a reassessment of like, hey, what do you call a person who doesn't believe people need to be saved, who no, like, I'm not a I don't think you call this
Yeah.
a Christian,
Yeah.
so
Wow. Wow.
uh so I know you're trying to talk to theists. I have a question for you, and it's kind of politics related. I don't know if you
Okay.
want to get into that.
We can see how far it goes. I'm looking, keeping
Okay.
my eye on the screen for other calls that come in. But right now, you're the only one in the queue, so we're good.
Okay, and I only have a couple minutes as well, but something that
Okay.
I've noticed is that it seems like folks who have gone from Christian to fully deconverted atheists, as far as what I'm familiar with, it coincides with a shift left politically.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's one topic where, for me, I actually shifted the other way.
Okay.
And so I knew, as a Christian, I kind of knew in the back of my mind that I was supposed to think that abortion was wrong. Um,
Mm.
but I just, I never said this out loud, but I was always like, but they're going to heaven. Like, I just always assume they're going to heaven, right? So, like, the very practical part of me is like, yo, they have a 0% chance of experiencing
Mm.
eternal, eternal pain, and I have a more than 0% chance. Like, I don't like the idea of abortion,
Yeah.
but they're going straight to heaven is what I assumed. Now,
Well, before you get to
go,
the question,
go
I
ahead.
think people really could spend a lot of time thinking about what you just said, because there are parts of the theology that are not fully worked out. Like, we like to think that, of course, all children, all babies, infants, whatever, people who don't have the ability or the wherewithal to make a decision, well, they would have to go to heaven, right?
You would think.
But if the theology is as robust as we try to make it seem sometimes when we were Christians, no, we're born in sin, shaped in iniquity. So I don't care how infantile you are, you're a sinner. Why would we think that infants go right to heaven? Like, maybe they're just hellbound, and the same way that we think all babies go to heaven, maybe they all go to hell. Who knows? But we don't actually think about the theology well enough to flesh this kind of stuff out.
Right. I never kind of followed it all the way to its logical conclusion. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's just back in my head,
Hmm.
just kind of, I've just figured babies who die go to heaven. And so And now I'm in a spot where I don't think there's an afterlife. I think this is the only
Mm-hmm.
life that we get.
Mm.
And so now
I see where you're
right.
going. I see where you're going.
So now
Come
I'm in a
on.
position where it's like, oh man, like when
Mm.
when that life ends,
Yeah.
and it's not an easy solution. I'm not saying this is an easy thing to figure out, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
I'm more. I'll put it like this: if you had asked me 10 years ago, hey,
Mm-hmm.
construct or if you ask me now, construct a law that you want to go into place for abortion. I think I think it would take me days to iron out because I think it's just very difficult. But I also
Mm-hmm.
think that if you pass this out and just asked a survey of people, hey, do you think a Republican or a Democrat wrote this? I think more people would guess Republican. I don't, you know,
Mm.
I think I slightly lean that way just because it is uncomfortable to think that this is probably the only life we get, and
Mm.
and we're ending that. So
And abortion
anyway,
takes that from somebody who they've got no, if there is no heaven, you're taking away the only shot
right,
at life that this being was ever going to have.
right. So it has shifted me
Yo.
actually right to the right. Yeah,
Yeah. So when you say, do we have the right? I think that's where I would enter your question at. Do we have the right? Maybe no. But the question to me about abortion is never do we have the right? It's always does the mother. It's two questions. Does the mother have the right to end the life? And also, does the unborn person have the right to enforce itself upon the mother? Like, can the unborn force the mother to carry it? Does anybody else have the right to the mother's life, to the mother's body? And so we may not have the right, but I think that it's an extremely sensitive and important question for a mother to decide. Can I carry this life? Do I want to carry this life? And I don't think anybody else really has that ability to enter into that decision.
yeah. I understand that, and I um I think that where it gets difficult for me is testing the extremes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I'm assuming here, and again, I'm entering hypothetical land, but I'm going to assume, maybe I'll just ask, would you hold that position? Again, this is hypothetical. This doesn't happen in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But if a mother wanted to, hey, the doctor's walking in, hey, we're ready to push, here we go. And the mother's like, you know what, I can't do this. And
Mm.
just gonna, like, does that sentiment still hold if she wanted to end it right there? Again, I know that doesn't happen. I'm just trying to test
Yeah, because
you
I
know,
think that extreme is too extreme because typically abortion, like even in the states that are most extreme with their abortion laws, once you get to the point where the unborn is viable outside of the mother, where the unborn doesn't necessarily need the mother, you're no longer talking about ending the life of the fetus. You're talking about how to safely deliver it so that the fetus and the mother both survive. So to get to the point of push, she's ready to push. And now do you decide to end it? Like no one's talking about abortion really at that late stage of the game, as far as
right.
I can see.
So I hope, yeah, I do think that generally when people say abortion, we're kind of just all kind of thinking about the middle case average, you
Yeah.
know, I don't know, 15 or something, 20 weeks. I don't know what that is, but it's just, a- and I'm not like saying I would totally outlaw it. One reason I brought it up is because actually I live in Tennessee, and it was interesting. A few days
Mm,
ago, and there was an amendment to a bill that was, um, you know, I don't know what the word is that was put on the table, I guess. And
mm,
the amendment was to basically say, hey, unborn children should have the same rights as born children, and one right that born children has is to not be killed. And so we should treat this the same way. Well, the logical what that would turn out to be is that basically, essentially, it didn't say this exactly, but if you got an abortion, you could be prosecuted as
Yeah.
murder. But you know what's interesting is that it needed to get past this subcommittee, and on the subcommittee there were 8 Republicans and 2 Democrats, and nobody voted to even
Wow.
give it a first motion to be able to discuss.
Wow. That's impressive in today's day and age. Because I'm thinking unborn children should have all the rights that born children have, but born children do not have the right to their parents' body for survival. Like, no one can force a parent of a born child to use their body to keep that child alive. So born children don't have that right. So why should unborn children have that right?
Right. Hey, I'm at my son's baseball practice. He's getting in the car right now.
Okay,
so
yeah, do your thing. I got another caller coming in.
But
Hey,
thanks for
calling,
taking my
Vince.
call. Yeah.
Indeed.
Take care.
Get with you. All right. Yeah, I haven't really sat and worked out my position on abortion, but I do think I like the thinking that says, like, and even the point that Vince just brought up, I think is a great point. Like, man, if there is no afterlife, if there is no heaven that they just immediately get kicked to, and this is the only life that the unborn is going to have, shouldn't we like structure it so that those, like, we can't take that away from them? But I can't put that unborn person's rights above the rights of the mother that has to carry that unborn child to term. I think mothers have an extreme privilege and duty to care, but I don't think they could be forced to give their bodies for the sustenance of a life that they don't want to give it to. And here's what I know. I know that if we were the ones to carry children, this would not even be a question. If men had to carry the unborn to term, to birth them, we would have found all kind of ways and reasons. As a matter of fact, it would probably be in the Bible already. It would probably be, because all the Bible is ancient people putting their morality in the mouth of a God that you can never confront. If men were the ones birthing and having children, they would have been put it in the Bible that it's okay to not carry a child to term. Right? So I'm just saying that to say, I don't think that the idea of forcing a person to give their body for someone else's sustenance is something that I would want done to me if it was possible for me as a biological male to carry and birth children. That's where I'm at so far. I'm still, hearing ideas and reading positions and all that. If you want to drop, where are you with that question in the chat, or if you're not watching it live, you want to drop it in the comments, feel free. I'm going to bring on this brother Devon has been trying to get at me for a while now. Actually, I think it's been about 2 years since I've seen you on Icopod in the comments, and we went back and forth once or twice. And I believe brother Devon is a former Christian. And so we're going to bring brother Devon in. We're going to kick it real quick. And then I think I got another theist in the queue. So we're going to, or maybe not theist. I'm not sure. I'm seeing familiar names, but I'm not sure the stories behind the folks. So I'll bring them in one at a time and we'll see. Your camera is on, just so you know, brother Devon. I'm about to bring you on. If you want to change that, that's up to you. If not, keep it just like you have it and you're good to go. I already see your mic is unmuted, so you should be good. I'll bring you on in a few seconds. Just in case you want to make any changes, I'll let you do that. All right. Your camera is off now, so I'm thinking you maybe made a change, but it's up to you if you ever want to adjust that. That's on you. Here we go.
Yo,
Brother Devon, what's up? What's happening, man? Long time coming, but you finally on Icopod. What's up?
Yeah. Well, what's up, Icopod? What's good? Yeah. I definitely think there's some lies and discrepancies in the Bible as well.
Now, you got to catch me up, because I remember you said you left Christianity, but then you went into a cult.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah. I'm more interested in the science aspect of it.
Okay. So
The
I got all kind of like
aspect.
left over from my Christian days. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean when you say occult? What are you talking about?
When I say occult, I'm meaning the the hidden spiritual, the hidden reality of spirituality, if that makes sense.
Okay. So then you still pay attention to sacred texts. You just read them differently.
Yes.
Okay. And when you say the hidden reality of spirituality, I guess what I would like to know from you is why, because when I left Christianity, I looked at all the religion. I took one look back before I left. Like, is there any truth to any of you? And if not, why am I still paying attention to what I used to think was a spiritual realm? And I just threw it all out. You still believe that there's a spiritual realm?
Yes, I'm also aware that things are also symbolic.
Okay, so break it down for me.
It's not meant to be literal.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what here, I guess here's
That.
what my question is. What about the
Mhm.
spiritual realm, or what about spirituality is real?
Well, well, I can't. Well, I can't really give an answer for that, other than to say that, you know, heaven and hell are nothing but states of our own higher and lower awareness of how we perceive and feel about
Hey, hold
ourselves
on,
as
Dev, your mic is doing
human beings.
your mic is doing what my mic does sometimes. It's getting real staticky. Are you frozen now? Looks like you're frozen now. For those who are longtime listeners, when my mic starts acting up, does it sound like his mic just sounded a minute ago? Because that's what I probably be putting y'all through when y'all be like, yo, your mic is tripping. Dev, looks like you're frozen. I'm gonna remove you, and then I'm gonna bring you back on once I see you moving again. But I'm gonna bring on the next caller in the meantime. All right, because you haven't moved in a minute, and I can't hear you. All right, I'm gonna bring on Omni Kevlar. Omni Kevlar, what's happening?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Now I've seen you commenting on Ichabod for a while, so I'm going to venture to say you're atheist at this point.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
Okay.
I would say I'm agnostic towards a general deity out there. Like if he made
Okay.
something and then just hit away, I'm agnostic towards that, but I'm atheist
Got
towards
you.
like all the religions.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you a quick question. A while back when I was first deconstructing, one of my friends, he was like a Mike Winger fan, right? Like he was like all about he was like in the know of things. And it was kind of frustrating because like I thought I knew things about Christianity. And then when I found out some of these like problems with the Bible, I was like bringing this up to him and he's like, oh well, yeah, but that's not a big deal. And I'm like, what, you knew and you're just like staying quiet about this? Like this, it was like frustrating to me, right?
Yeah.
There was a moment where, and at the time it didn't phase me right away. There was a moment we were going back and forth and doing it hundreds of times through text and phone. And he's like, oh, I wish you would have just known these apologetics first, or I wish you would have known these points first. And at the time when he said that, my mindset was, okay, it shouldn't matter the order of operation. You hear both sides or you see the evidence. If it's at that point where the order matters, God's like screwing up here big time. He's not making the evidence obvious. But as I look back on that, I often ask myself, because when I was growing up, I was indoctrinated into young earth creationism and taught that evolution was evil from the get-go. So anyone coming at me with evolution, it didn't matter the points, I was indoctrinated, immunized against those. My question to you, do you think if the right apologist or the right person came to you and was able to like massage you at any stage before you went to seminary, at any stage that you could have been like locked into the faith?
That's a great question, man. Oh man. Because of the kind of Christian that I was, I don't think so. Because I don't like to admit this, but I think I was much more fundamentalist than I would have liked to have been. Like there are ways I gave myself credit for being progressive, and I didn't take the Garden of Eden story overly literally. I thought it was historical, but I thought there were ways to allegorize it, and it's not really that God cared about the fruit. It was more about this. It was more about. I read all kinds of things into the story to make it not seem as elementary as it actually is. But at the same time, I'm like, the reason why I bought into the Bible is because I thought I was worshiping the God of history. I thought I was worshiping the God who no one else was there at the beginning. So if anybody knows how this got started, you do. So to start realizing that, oh, I can't take that literally, I can't take that literally, I can't take that literally. It was almost like somebody pulled the rug out from under my God. And once you pull the rug out and you tell me, but he's still standing, I'm like, how is he still standing when the rug is gone? Like so I don't know what could have been said to me to make me think, oh, evolution could possibly be true. The prophecies in the Old Testament can maybe they weren't really prophecies, even though Mike Winger has a way he goes out of his way to make the prophecies still look like prophecies, even though we know there's all kind of evidence that, oh, this was written after the fact.
It's insane tap dancing. I know. I don't know how they do it.
Special pleading, all kinds of. So I don't know, man. I think before I knew what logical fallacies were, before I knew what bad argumentation was, maybe, but the more you strip it of its literal nature and its historicity, I'm looking at the front door. So I don't know. It's a difficult question for me, because if you were really good at the tap dancing, maybe.
Yeah, because like I think, like I said, when I think back to when I was younger, being indoctrinated against evolution, like I said, it didn't matter what anyone said. I was like, that was like sealed into me. And I often wonder, what if someone came to me and said that there's going to be these liberal scholars, as Dr. Josh Bowen would say, and you got to watch out how they take the word and all of that, and how they do their forensics, and how they think they're being all intellectual. If I would have been indoctrinated against that as well, like that, I don't know. It's hard to say, because it's like there were many times, I don't know, because I hear what you're saying too, because it's like there are moments when you just read the text and you go, mate, this is a contradiction. Like I remember thinking that so many times as a Christian and being like, I want to look the other way. I don't want to see this. I don't want to like face the writing on this. It's hard for me to say too, because it's like that seems to be what some of the apologists say, is like, oh, you just weren't taught a certain right way or whatever. And it's just like, and to me, it doesn't faze me at all. And like I said, I still stand by the point that it doesn't matter what order of operation you get the evidence in. Yeah. Otherwise, you have a God that's not trying to get everyone saved. You have a God that's got to
think about it. If you had heard this before you deconstructed, maybe it would have saved your faith, whatever. But how many people are not going to hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you've got a God who, unless he's going to run around just playing Johnny on the spot, like, oh, somebody's about to give you let me give you a preemptive. If he's not going to just go around and give everyone the preemptive apologetic that they need to withstand whatever's going to come at them, then is God playing favorites? Like he's giving some people the Mike Winger anecdote or antidote, and he's giving he's not giving other people, like what's going on here? And it just looks so much more naturalistic.
I know, that's what I'm saying, is like the fact that when I think of like a court, I was thinking of a courtroom about this too, where it's like, you hear the prosecution and you hear the defense, right? And the reason why this has to be so organized and so like get all your ducks in a row is because of how we are as humans. It can't just be that we organically get this out there. No, we have a step by step process, and it's what you would expect if this was all naturalistic. It's what you would expect humans being humans,
Let me ask you one question that might be interesting for the theist watching. Yeah. Since you have deconverted, deconstructed, and your friends, I wish you would have had this back when you. Is there one apologetic that stands out above the rest? Like, man, that one might have got me if I'd have heard that one before I left. Is there one that stands out to you?
Like for a specific theism, no, not for any specific religion. For a general God, like, I mean, maybe, but the problem, what I tell people all the time is like, let's assume I just grant there's a God. I don't mind doing that in these discussions. Does this God care where I go to the restroom? Does he care what I say to people? Does he care what I eat? Does he care about these things? Does he want me to sing him songs on a Sunday? And how do I know? Right? Yeah, is he a good person? Right? Is he a humanist? What are his goals? What is he trying to accomplish? These would be like it's just like, okay, so let's say there's a God. We can't answer any of those other questions, right? And so it's like, yeah, I'll even tell people, sure, I'll toss up a random prayer every week or two, but until I have linking evidence that that there's like something to take seriously, this is just where we are. It's just, and it doesn't have to be the end of the world. That was another thing I had to learn, because it's like, I love the analogy where it's like, you think you're going to live eternally. You have $1 billion, and then you find out you're going to only have like maybe 80 years. It feels like it's horrible because of where your starting point was, right? But when you flip the reverse side of it and you think the fact that we're just here is insane. The fact that we have this opportunity is insane. Like it's a beautiful moment. Like, don't, and it's hard to do that again because of that's the one thing I've recognized is where I was starting from. I was starting from you're a transcended, you're going to live forever kind of thing. And it took me forever to like get out of that. I was definitely, I mean, you saw me too earlier when you first started your channel. I was in that middle phase of like, I didn't know how to go where. I didn't know how to make sense of all this, but I knew it was like, these arguments just make sense and I don't know what to do.
So it's interesting because I got this image that when you were just talking about Christianity gave you this idea of this transcendent, this eternal, this, and then when you deconvert, it's like, oh, so this is just it. You could either be depressed by that, like, oh, it's almost like Cinderella and her carriage turning back into a pumpkin. And it's like, wait, Christianity gave me this fairy tale of an idea of what was going to happen after death and all that. And now when I don't believe anymore, now I'm just back to this regular. But no, if you think about what's going on, the carriage was never real. You were never, the princess. You were never like, you never had the beautiful gown. You never had the glass slippers. Like, no, this is what you always had. Someone sold you a bill of goods, a pipe dream. You realize it was a dream. You realize it wasn't true, and you didn't lose anything. The only thing you lost was the false hope. So you're kind of just coming home again. You didn't lose heaven. You just came back to reality.
Yeah, I always like to say it's like, now that when I became an atheist, it's like maybe the goal isn't to try to get to heaven, but to build heaven on earth for everyone, right?
Yeah.
That's what I like to think about it as now, because it's like, I mean, it can also be a scary thought too, because once again, you're like, oh, morality's on us. Morality, we have decisions to make. We and whether the decisions we make are good or bad with respect to our goals, I mean, they're just, that's it. Like there ain't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
just going off into the ether, if you will, or whatever. But
It's
no,
frightening.
yeah, it's I just had that random question because I often thought, like, was there something, and it's hard to always like see that case, because it's like I'm wondering, like, with the way the trajectory of like atheism on the rise and or the nuns going up and religions dropping, I often wonder, like, you know, is apologetics going to be able to continue? Are they eventually, because I feel like there's going to be a breaking, a restabilization point, but I often wonder, like, is this what Christians are supposed to do now? Just constantly keep re-educating people to prepare the next generation, give them all these talking points over and
So
over
you know
and
what?
over again?
I wonder, if I was a Christian, I would not know how to deal with this. This is the craziest thing I've ever thought about saying. I almost don't even want to say it. But it almost feels like Christian nationalism, as abhorrent as it is breathing life back into Christianity.
I know. Like, that's the scary thing, is when I see younger people and like people that are like open to it and like talking to these popular apologists, and I'm like, dude, what is happening here? Like, how? I don't get it. You know, it's just one of those things.
For some of them, I think they realized, like, there was just this thing with Doug Wilson and Frank Turek and what's the Mark Dever, I think it was. Is that his name? I don't know. But
I've heard
these Christians are getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I wonder if for some of them, even if they were not prone to agree with the white nationalists, I think for some of them it's almost like, damn, you know what? This is probably as close as we're going to get to Jesus coming back. We might need to seize this opportunity while we can.
Yeah. And then you hear how a lot of military agents are complaining that this war that's happening right now is a holy war. This is to fulfill the book of Revelation. I mean, I'd love to hear these apologists come out of the woodworks and start speaking against this, because I see a lot of them. I know there has to be so many of them that don't agree with this, and a war is happening or is being encouraged or reinforced more from this. You know, Donald Trump is probably there in the office with all the hundreds of people praying over him, and they're saying, this is what God wants. You're making the right decision here. This is scary, you know?
I don't see the apologists fighting against it, but I do see, I mean, black and white pastors. I see pastors standing up for, that's not, you know, New Testament Christianity. That's not the Christian hope. That's not the way of Jesus. But that's what I'm saying. It's breathing life back into Christianity in several ways. It's making Christianity seem like it's on the rise because, look, it's in the government now. But it's also giving the folks who are more out, it's hard to say this, but the more biblically based Christians, the ones that we probably would have said amen to back when we were in, it's giving them fuel, because now they feel like, oh, they got to protect the faith against these wolves. And so now Christianity thrives on having someone to fight against, whether it be gay marriage, whether it be LGBTQ, whether it be, Christianity thrives on having something to fight with. So now they're fighting against Christian nationalism. And that keeps the religion alive. So
yeah.
but
Anyways,
I appreciate the question, man.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to pop that in. I was, because, like, I remember, like I said, when my friend said that, I was like, of course this is ridiculous, right? But then I was thinking, man, I think as a human being and how we are as humans, maybe there could have been like an influence on there. And it's like, it's just crazy. It's like, did I dodge a bullet somehow? Like, could I have, like, could something have happened where I got stuck in the faith longer? Who knows, right? So no.
Yeah. Well, let's keep kicking it around, man. Thanks for calling in. I got a couple other calls I'm going to get to, but appreciate you, man.
You have a great day, man.
All right, give it you. All right, so I got question, and then I got bro Devon, who's back in the chat. So let me get bro Dev back in real quick, and then I'll get question in. Your camera is live, Dev, just in case you want to fix that. If not, keep it live. I'll bring you in a couple seconds. Here we go. Dev, what's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
good, Brady? What's good, Ichabod fam?
All right. So you were about to explain. I was asking you what is the reality of the spirituality that you're giving attention to. And you said you couldn't really answer that, but then your mic started messing up.
Right. Well, you know, after my phone died, I took a second to think about that, and so
Okay.
to answer the question you asked me, that that reality is whatever your subconscious mind um perceives that spiritual reality to be. Your 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 afterlife or your hereafter is whatever you make it.
Okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, whatever spirituality there is to be perceived, you will not necessarily experience that until you leave this life.
Right.
But I'm confused because if you're dealing with occult stuff now, you're still in this life. So how are you tapping into or experiencing the spiritual now?
Because I see I see everything as myself.
Say more. What do you mean by that?
Okay, if I'm aware that I'm a human, I'm aware that in another existence I'm a I'm a tree. Uh, I'm a bush. I can be a bird. You know, even a full plane of grass. You know
But what
that.
you're saying, what it sounds like you're saying is you're taking the idea of many worlds or the multiverse, and it's almost like you're saying all that is actually happening now, but not in terms of different universes,
Right.
different iterations of everything is an iteration of you. I'm even an iteration of you.
Yeah, and then it's like we all have a excuse me excuse me we all have a masculine and feminine uh inside of us. You know, um but since like since you and I are men right now in this existence, in another parallel reality, shoot, we wait, can I cuss?
You can curse, but I'm about go ahead. Yeah.
I, I just wanted to be respectful
No, I
because
appreciate that.
I started to say shoot, but yeah, shoot. And then like I was saying, like in this reality, we can be men right now, but somewhere in another multiverse, we could be women or animals.
No, but see, I
It's
think it sounds like you're merging the ideas because multiverse is everything is what it is in this universe, but in another universe, things could be different.
got you.
But it sounded like you were saying a minute ago, like if everything even in this universe is the tree, the blade of grass, the cat, the dog, if all of those are iterations of you in this universe, that isn't a multiverse. You're saying that even in this universe, there are different existences that are the same existence,
Right,
which is kind of confusing.
I understand, and I'm still learning some things, even though
Okay.
even though I myself am a teacher, I also don't mind being the student as well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's
As long as
that.
you're open to your ideas being challenged, because like I said,
Oh, of course.
the main question that skeptics would ask to something like what you're saying is, how could we know that?
Listen. I won't be challenged by anybody but you, cause you and I we got history as both Christians and Christian rappers. So
Really?
if anybody is to challenge me, that would be you, my brother. Real rap.
Okay. Hey, well, tell you what. Think through that a little bit more, and then hit me back when you're ready to talk
Yep.
about what you actually mean with all that. I would love to chop it up with you some more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good seeing you, man. Let me let you go. I'm gonna hop to this next caller.
Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. Stay well.
Peace, everybody. All right.
All right. Question. You're next in the queue. Your camera is off. If you want to keep it off, keep it like that. If you want to turn it on, I'll give you a couple seconds to do what you got to do. Your mic is also unmuted, which is great, so you won't have to touch anything when I bring you on. And let me just say, the rules of the game are simple. I respect everyone. I expect to respect. If I end up having to mute you, it's not because I'm trying to shut you down or I'm trying to talk over you or dunk on you. If I mute you, it's only because I feel like I'm not able to get a word in and I need to. Please do not unmute your mic before I say, okay, I'm done, because then that'll just be you talking over me some more. I'm hoping to not even have to mute anyone, but that's just the rules of how I'm doing it for now. All right, question, I'm bringing you onto the stage. Welcome to Ichabod.
Yo, what's good?
What's happening, my man?
Oh, not much. Hey, let me see. Quick question for you. How do you consider Isaiah 53 to be an actual prophecy of Jesus Christ?
And before I answer that, good question. Before I answer that, are you theist, atheist, agnostic? Where are you at with the God question?
The labeling is a bit difficult for me, but
Okay.
I guess the history would be started out in church and then walked away at about say like maybe 10 years ago now.
Okay.
And then now currently I want to believe that there is something, but I'm not sure exactly how to go about that. But I still kind of, every now and again, I still go back and, look at some things and read it in there, some things that, this still makes sense,
But even in your walking away and wanting to believe that there is something, if you're asking about Isaiah 53, is the something that you're wanting to believe that there is, does it still hinge on the Christian God?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
However, at the same time, I still don't want to throw the baby away with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
And what really triggers the whole Isaiah 53 is I listened to this other cat named God Logic. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
So it probably wasn't you, but somebody in my last stream when I was on doing the live, somebody in my last stream. That was you. Okay. So you know exactly what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I do.
You should debate or have God Logic on the talk. I didn't know who God Logic was until I saw him in the Joel Webbin debate with Ruslan a few weeks ago. But I won't have anybody on. Yeah. I've never really checked them out, but I would have anybody on.
But it was it was I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, it's all good. Go ahead.
It was talking to a Muslim individual, and he had mentioned that scripture, and what I listened to, and I was like, let me bring this to the brother over here and see what he thinks about it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So here's what I'll say about Isaiah 53. I went to seminary back in 2000. I did Bible college from 2003 to 2009, because I was traveling as a Christian rapper at the time. So I was taking semesters off. So 6 years I did Bible college. And then 2 years later, I went to seminary. And it was in seminary that I finally got a chance to ask the questions that I've been dying to ask, because as I read the New Testament, I always found myself saying, whenever these New Testament authors quote the Old Testament and say, this was done so that the scripture could be fulfilled that says such and such and such and such, or this was done to fulfill the scripture that says such and such and such and such. The few times that I would go back to look at the Old Testament to see where they got that prophecy from, I'm like, wait, how was this New Testament author able to just dip into this passage, pull this completely out of context, and say this was done to fulfill this passage? Like, that passage was not talking about that. And so in seminary, I got a chance to actually sit with these texts, sit with the original languages, sit with my professors, and it never clicked. Like even they would say the New Testament authors use the Old Testament in ways that we are not allowed to do. Like they had the Holy Spirit helping them see deeper meanings in the text. But if we ever tried to do that, it would be eisegesis. Eisegesis is reading meaning into the text as opposed to exegesis, which is trying to draw meaning out of the text. But I'm like, so wait, are you telling me that these New Testament authors, they were for some reason able to do eisegesis? They were able to pour meaning into the text? And the professors would say things like, well, no, they had the Holy Spirit helping them to draw things out that we just can't see. And that just seemed like so much BS to me. So I will say this on top of that. When I get to Isaiah 53, Isaiah clearly to me in the book of Isaiah, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with what's called Deutero-Isaiah, they say, like if you study the strands and the themes and the vocabulary of the book of Isaiah, you have at least 2 and possibly 3 writers covered from the beginning of Isaiah all the way up until the end of Isaiah. I think it's chapter 66 to where it ends. But Deutero-Isaiah, where you start getting these servant these servant passages, it seems clear that the servant in Isaiah is either the nation of Israel, a remnant of the nation of Israel, Cyrus, who's talked about in Isaiah, or the prophet himself. There are ways to look at Isaiah 53 and see slices of, oh, this could be saying this. I don't think anybody in their right mind in that time when it was written or in our time today could look at Isaiah 53 and get a Jesus out of it. You've got to carve out so much of what's before it in chapter 48, chapter 49, chapter 50, 52. You've got to carve out so much of that and what comes after it to say, oh, see this, he was wounded for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities. The transgression, the price for our peace was put upon him. You've got to carve out so much just to take that little chunk and make that apply to Jesus. When just a chapter before, you've got a servant that clearly is talking about Israel, or at least a remnant of Israel. So I know I said a whole lot there, but no, I don't look at any of what's called messianic prophecies and see Jesus there, least of all Isaiah 53.
Yeah, you're right. Because even now, as you're talking, I'm going through the verses and I'm reading it, and I'm like, seems like a pull, like a strong, like almost like a forced thing. It's not as clear to connect them or to connect it to Jesus, and
that's a big one for the Christian, like that text right there.
Right.
Like if you take that away, it's like, well, damn, what else is there? That's like the linchpin.
Yeah,
for me, it doesn't hold.
Wow, that's interesting. Now I think I need to go back and kind of read the couple of chapters before 53 and see what I get.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What I get out of it. Yeah, man. So yeah, I would really love to see you and God Logic go at it. I don't,
So hit him up. I'm sure he knows about me. I'm no Ruslan. They, as a Christian rapper, like a lot of those dudes were discipled by my group or the music that we put out or people like us. I don't wave that as a badge, like, oh, so you better listen to me. But just as somebody who helped create that whole lane that a lot of those guys are in, I would love to talk with a lot of those guys today, just to have a real heart-to-heart, face-to-face. Hey, I used to be there with you, but I'm here now, and I don't think that holds water at all.
Right.
So yeah, God Logic, if you hear this, love to have a conversation with you.
And then that's another thing also is when I was on my way out, when I started questioning things, I started looking at prayer, and I said to my wife, I said, well, look, on prayer days, that's the day that we get the least amount of people at church. On Sunday, that's the day that's the most packed. Now, if prayer is supposed to be this, if it works and it truly has the airs of God, that should be the day where it's packed up in there the most. You would
think.
Yeah. So I was like, this is strange. Like, I don't know, And I don't want to become one of those people that say, all right, God, I see what they say you did in the Bible. I need you to do something different. I need, like, show me something. Because the scary thing is, this is what scares me. I'm going to ask for something, and I see something, and I know me. In the back of my mind, I'm going to question, is this Satan or is this God that's showing this? So now I'm like, okay, what is the source of whatever this is? So I don't know, because that's, yeah.
Well, so part of my deconversion process was testing the power of prayer, not what happens when I pray, because that was the first part. I was in an accountability group, me and 3 guys from a church that I used to go to, and we used to pray monthly. And one of the things we were praying for me was that I get a job in education. I ended up teaching at 4 schools. I was like, yo, God answered this prayer. And it meant so much to me because my doubts about Christianity began in 2014. 2015, I stopped reading the Bible. 2016, 2017, I'm in this accountability group with these guys, and we're praying because I told God, I said, I can't see you in the Bible no more. That's not working. I need to see you in real life. I need to see you in your world. Do something. So when we prayed and I ended up teaching at 4 schools, I was like, oh, he is real. Like, look, he answered this prayer.
Right.
But then something clicked. I said, well, damn, the 4 schools you're teaching at, how'd you end up teaching there? And it was like, oh, I know the principal of this school. I know the dean at this school. I know somebody at all these places that I'm teaching at. Does this have to be God? And I'm fanatic from cross movement, and I'm a black male in education. All of those things open all kind of doors for me. I said, damn, this don't have to be God. And so even though I was giving God credit for having answered prayer, I said, damn, I wonder what would happen if I stopped praying. And guess what? Like, the power of prayer was just as effective when I wasn't even praying. Like, the blessings still kept flowing. And it wasn't like it was all blessings, but I was no more blessed and no more burdened than when I had a prayer life. I said, damn, so that I can not pray and the same kinds of things keep happening. So then what good is it? And that was just more fuel on my deconversion track.
Yeah, no, that was good. And I tell my wife, I said the scary part is, I think I've only said this in an argument to another, like, a believer that I ran into. I said, I hate to say this out loud because it still kind of feels weird saying. I said, tell me one thing that you cannot do without God. Because when I was in the church, that's our whole thing. You know, even I remember that was a song back in the day. I can't do nothing without you, God. This is the thing that we said, you know. So now I'm like, what can you not do without God? And, you know, it's kind of arrogant to say, but I'm like, I don't know. And then people will say,
it's a good question to ask.
Yeah. And then people will say, oh, drug, alcohol. But I'm like, yeah, but there are people that has been, quote unquote, delivered from that are not believers. Who do you charge that to?
Or they believe something different. They could be a Muslim and they kick the habit, or they stop abusing their spouse, or it's like, okay, so is the Christian God answering the Muslim's prayer?
Yo, that used to be one of my main thing right there. I used to say, okay, every religion did pray. At least Muslims, I know they pray, and Christians pray. And if you go ask a Muslim, do you be like your prayer was answered? They'll be like, yeah, my prayer was answered. Allah or whomever answered my prayer. Ask a Christian, they say the same thing, and I'd be like, wait. And I know clearly these are 2 different gods because they're not the same people according to their belief. So are there 2 different gods answering these people's prayer? So it's like, I don't know what's real.
Yo, man, I think I don't want to rush anybody in their process. If you are agnostic and you're kind of leaning atheist, but you leave room open because maybe there's this theistic idea of God, there are gaps in our knowledge. And until we close that gap in our knowledge, maybe God is that gap filler. We don't know. I don't think it's the right thing to fill that gap in. But as long as there's a gap in terms of what came before the Big Bang and how did abiogenesis get started, as long as there's a gap, there's always going to be a place for God as long as there's a gap. But history has shown us we've got so many gaps that God used to fill that once we investigated and once we got better tools and once we've been able to, the things that we used to say, oh, God has to be the explanation for lightning, or God has to be we close those knowledge gaps without God. Why should we think that that trend is not going to continue? All the other knowledge gaps that we still have, when they get filled, they're going to be filled by something naturalistic, just like those other gaps were filled by something naturalistic. And so for me, it almost is a waste of energy to kind of keep my eye on the God box. Like maybe that one's going to pay off. I think I've moved on from that unless or until a God's going to step in and say or do something that only a God could say or do.
True. And also that's actually, I got the same thinking of what if, like you're saying, we assign things to God due to lack of understanding. What if all along God is looking like, okay, assuming that there is a God, what if he's looking like, yo, why you assigning that to me? I didn't do that. That's on you. You were supposed to do that on your own. So and a part of me would be like, okay, maybe there's a different level of understanding that we need to have that we don't have yet, that has to do with God, rather than applying this simple basic ideology. Oh, he helps me get a job, or he helps me get things, or he like God is like, no, that ain't me. Like, I don't,
Well, but and that may be where you need to be for now, but I still think God is an ancient hypothesis that has not panned out. Like to me, you're being too kind to the concept of God. Like maybe God's just like, hey, I did some things, but I didn't do that.
Right.
I don't know why we should think God did the some things other than just the God of the gap hypothesis. But like I said, I think if the ancients had the tools that we have now, if they had microscopes and telescopes, I don't know that if they would have ever come up with God as a hypothesis. But since they did, and since it was such a strong idea, because it was unfalsifiable, they put God up in the sky where you can't really, and then they put him in the third heaven. Paul says in the third heaven. So it's like, damn, even if I go to heaven or the heavens, if I go above the clouds and I don't see God, I can't come back and say there's no God, because Paul said there's a third heaven. Well, all you do is you just keep kicking God up into further and further regions that we can't reach, so you could never falsify it. And to me, I'm like, if you've got to do that with your concept of God so that we can't disprove him, I mean, in Genesis, a Tower of Babel could have disproved God. God had to stop the Tower of Babel because if they built high enough, they would have ended up in God's living room. Somehow, that version of God is not the God we're dealing with now, because we can fly planes and go to the moon and we don't end up in his living room. It's like, what are we talking about?
Right. I heard you. I think you were about to say the God of gap, and then you kind of you didn't go all the way there. But do you remember that was a scripture? I don't remember how it goes in the New Testament that says something about an altar to an unknown God.
I thought about that and stopped myself from saying it.
Yes,
so you heard me say you heard me stop from saying several things. Yes.
So now I've always, every time I think about this scripture, to me, it's actually kind of impressive in a way that somebody acknowledged that, wait, there's something unknown is happening here. Rather than saying we assign everything to God, there's still something here that is, I don't know. We don't know it. So we just say it's unknown. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't want to rush anybody to a stage of deconstruction or deconversion that they're not ready for. I would encourage you, just wrestle with, why am I holding that door open? Like Paul said, there's this unknown God. Let me tell you about this unknown God. But if there's this unknown God, why is it unknown? And why is it on us to find him, to figure him out, to explain him to each other? Why isn't God? And I know the Christian would say, no, God has done it. In latter days, he spoke through prophets. And in these days, he's speaking through his son. But all that is nothing but hearsay. And so I just don't know why I would hold that door. Men hold doors open for women, but imagine a guy he just goes and holds the door open because he just thinks, hey, a woman's going to come at some point, and he's just there holding the door open. Like, no one's coming. You can stop holding that door. Walk into the building, do what you came to do. No one's coming. You don't need to hold the door open for a God. I don't think he's coming. That's where I'm at with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. I gotta
Hey,
get
thanks for
this
calling
kitchen
in,
and
man.
get cooking. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you for picking up.
Much love to you.
All right, take care, bro.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
All right, I didn't want to be on for too long tonight. I'm typically on for about an hour on Thursdays. It's been an hour and 15. Brother Devon popped back in. Let me just see if what he's going to add to this convo real quick, because I might be about to shut it down unless somebody else wants to call in. If you're a theist out there and you don't like me saying that the Bible is full of lies and you want to correct me or challenge me or just know what I'm talking about, please, this is your last chance, last call for alcohol. On Facebook, the link to tap in is in the comments. If you're on Instagram, the link to tap in is in my bio. If you're here on YouTube, the link is here in the live chat. I just posted it again in the live chat for you to pop on with us and have a conversation and bring Brother Devon back on. Your camera is up, just so you know. What's up, Dev?
Yeah, yes, sir. What's good, Brother Brady? I just wanted to come back and respond to the question with a clearer frame of mind. I think I was just excited because I was talking to you.
No, it's all good.
My fault. But I wanna say that I wanna say that have the concept of hell or heaven that theologians have indoctrinated and fed us with is right now, and we should stop both depending and codepending on a hereafter to fix that. You know, because like I said when I first came on, you know, it's what we make of it, right here, right now. You know what I mean?
I would agree with you that we can create our own leisure, our own luxury, our own pleasurable existences, or we could create hell for ourselves and others figuratively. But I guess I don't know what about that is spiritual, other than we're getting the terminology from a source that claims to tap into the spiritual. But what about it is actually spiritual?
I'm still learning.
It's all good.
A lot more spiritual science.
Okay. And what sources are you going to learn this? I'm curious.
Okay, so other than metaphysician and esoteric scholar Bobby Hemmett, I became really good friends with a student of his who became my teacher, and his name was Brother Panic. He passed away back in 2023. And I actually love Brother Panic because he was able to give you spirituality, but he was able to give you the critical thinking and analysis behind it, and say look, there's no demons, there's no devils, there's no angels, none of that is real. But what you do have to understand is that these mythological beings and creatures are nothing but aspects of you from different forms of thought.
I get it. To me, it just seems like what they might be doing with that is finding a way to use the Bible and make it profitable, just in terms of it's got imagery, it's got terminology, it's got some things worked out that once you deconvert and deconstruct, it's like, oh, now I got to reconstruct a whole new worldview, and I got to get terminology for this. Why not just keep using that terminology, but then pour new meaning into it? But I don't know that it's necessarily spiritual.
True. But then another thing he uses is another another method that he uses besides mythology is also methodology, which is the ability to use realistic ideas and an example to make sense of that thing. Uh,
Hmm.
It would. Excuse me. I know I stutter a lot. I'm sorry.
So
But
good.
thank you. Methodology is the idea to it's the idea to use realistic examples to make sense of the the ideas and concepts that we were taught to learn and understand, like a like a perfect example that I just recently learned. Um, if someone wants to learn metaphysics, a realistic idea of that would be learning how to cook. Like for like another example would be
But hold on,
if
hold on,
you
hold on,
if
hold
you
on.
want to.
Nah, hold on. Let's stick with that because I have a thought that I want to express, but your example might
Okay.
help me express my thought. What is it
Okay.
about cooking that's going to teach you something about metaphysics? Can you show me more what you mean by that?
Okay. All right, for sure. Well, uh, you, well, if you like, if you want to make if you want to make a perfect beef stew, you would have to you would have to find out what ingredients you would need
Mm-hmm.
to make that beef stew,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the midst of uh trying to make that beef stew, you would have to understand not not just getting the ingredients to make that beef stew, but
So
understanding.
no, Dev, you're killing it
Yes,
on the
yes,
practicals. You're killing it on the practical side. I get that. What I
yes.
want to know is,
Hmm.
okay, make the connection to the metaphysical.
Right. So so the metaphysical aspect of cooking a beef stew is that the whole point is that once you eat that beef stew, the purpose beyond eating that beef stew is for the 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 vitamins,
The
minerals, and
nutrients.
nutrients. Yeah, and nutrients to make you strong. That's the whole point of it.
But Dev, you've not said anything
Yes.
metaphysical yet. That's all physical. That's all natural.
Okay.
So I guess I'm still missing the spiritual element of any of that.
Okay. All right. Carrots. Carrots are supposed to help you. Are supposed to help strengthen your eyesight, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you would expect the carrots to do. The the potatoes. I don't know exactly what potatoes would do.
It's a
Uh,
starch. So starch is,
yeah.
but I guess once again, so here's the thing. When people like Jesus used to always give analogies, right? Or metaphors or
Hmm.
examples of
Hmm.
parables. But
Yeah.
his parables always had a spiritual component to it.
Right.
When we
And
deconvert, what we realize is, oh, there is no spiritual. So if there's anything good about what Jesus said, it's going to be something practical, like love your neighbor,
right.
or I need to learn to deny myself. All of those, even those parables, if they're going to have
I can
any,
I can still hear you. Go ahead.
yeah, if those
My
parables are
hand
going
was
to
just
have,
hot. But
yeah, if those parables are going to have any impact upon our lives, it's going to be because we do something practical with them. There is no
Right.
spiritual reality that we can. So I guess when you say metaphysics, I'm still looking for what's the, and maybe I should ask what you mean by spiritual, because when I hear spiritual, I think non-material. And when I
Right.
think non-material, I think that then it's things that we cannot experience or interact with and don't have any good reason to think that it's real. And so I'm trying to figure out from your view, what's
Yes.
real? Because you said for you, the occult is the reality, learning the reality of spirituality. And I'm still looking for what's real about the spirituality that you're talking about. That's not something physical.
You're right in correcting me, and I thank you for that. What I was saying is the idea of a cult. Let me redefine that. The idea of the occult is that which the occult is that which is hidden. So when you're dealing with the occult, you're from a spiritual science point of view, you're dealing with the lower hidden aspects of your spirit, and then you're also dealing with the higher aspects.
But Dev, how do I know I have a spirit?
Your breath.
But once again, every time I ask you to define or designate something as spiritual, you keep pointing back to things that are physical. My breath is spiritual. I mean, sorry, my breath is physical. The air in my lungs that are coming in, that's all physical. What's spiritual about that?
Is that it? I would say you have a connection to your energetic existence within your physical existence.
Yeah, I'm going to challenge you, Dev. I'm going to challenge you to before we go any further. I would like you to step away, take some time to maybe make on a sheet of paper, put a line down the middle, and on one side, maybe go back and listen to this conversation. Put the things that are actually physical things on one side, and then put the things that are actually spiritual things on the other side, and see what you can actually list out on the spiritual side of the page, because I've not heard anything spiritual.
I don't have paper on me.
Right. I'm just saying, not right now. I'm saying at some point, take some time to do that exercise, even if it's not paper, even if you do it in your mind. Just have a partition, name the things that are spiritual. Because if you cannot name the things that are actually spiritual, or even demonstrate that I or you or that anyone has a spirit, my question would be, why should anyone be concerned with the spiritual realm? How do you know that you're not just giving the benefit of the doubt to a category of existence that you got from religion? And even though you've deconverted, you're still kind of giving attention to it.
What I'm saying is, although there may be a spiritual realm, I'm not claiming that there is. That's mythology. We could play with that for laugh, poops and giggles. But what I'm saying is, people are so focused on what's out there, when our spiritual world is right here.
But why even call it a spiritual world? Why not just say the world is right here?
Oh, okay.
Because and here's my only concern. When I hear you use the term spiritual, it seems like you're trying to keep alive something that you're actually giving yourself credit for having walked away from, but you it's like you're not able to fully walk away from it.
No, it has nothing to do with Christianity.
No, I'm not saying it has anything to do with Christianity, but just to be talking about it as spiritual, like someone in the comments, David DeBow said a minute ago in the comments, David DeBow said, I'm putting it on the screen now. He says, curious whether what Devon has in mind is a mystical view of the world more than a spiritual or supernatural one, or maybe that's not enough of a distinction.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's sort of what you're getting at. Is this mystical idea of nature, right?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Thank you, David.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So you hear my concern. I hear your concern as well. I guess the terminology matters to me. I mean, I even have an issue with mysticism, because I think all mysticism is doing is taking once again, it's the same thing I said to the other caller. Mysticism is taking the gaps in our knowledge and trying to fill it up with things. But I'm left saying, why not just take the things that we know, work on those things, as opposed to trying to force them into the things we don't know?
Right, and that's what I do on a daily basis, and that's what I teach. You know what I mean? I mean, I might not have been, I might not be as practical as you or practical as Brother Panic was, but like when both of y'all would teach me stuff, I do understand what y'all are saying.
Got you.
I just don't know how to use really good examples. You know, I don't think my intelligence is that strong as of yet.
Well, no, I mean, you're representing yourself very well. I just think it would help you to think about the things that you're latching on to, because challenges like the ones I'm giving you now, like even when I jump on here, I'm not jumping on here because I'm a beast and I know this and I know that. There are going to be a lot of things that I don't say right, that I don't get right. But when I get challenges from people, I get to go back and think about them, and now I know how I want to represent that better next time.
I didn't want to use a book because I know we're at the brink of the time limit, and I thought it would be corny for me to use a book to help make sense of the question. So I figured I exercise I figured I exercised the way that I'd be able to get the answer out the best way I know I could.
No, all good. Yeah. Hey, but let's leave it here for now, and feel free to hop back whenever I'm back on.
Okay. All right.
So, all right, man. I'll get with you, bro.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. All right, this is the last call for alcohol. The link, I'm going to throw the link in the chat again on YouTube. If you're watching this on Instagram, the link is in my bio. If you're on Facebook, the link is in the comments. If you're a theist and you want to respond to my claim that the Bible is a book full of lies, hop on. If you're wrestling with your belief, you're in the throes of deconstruction, you want to pose a question, you can hop on as well. I'm going to give another minute or two to see if anybody wants to hop on. If not, I'm going to call it evening. But I thank you guys for rocking with Ichabod and coming through. I am going to hop back on tomorrow during the day because I'm still trying to gauge when do I get more interaction, during the day or in the evening. So you will see me hopping on probably sometime like around 2 or so tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. But again, shout out to all of the Patreon supporters. Love you guys. Thanks for standing with the channel. If you're not a Patreon supporter, the link has been in the chat and it will be in the description of the video. And I don't see anybody else hopping in the queue, so we're going to leave it there. Much love, y'all. Have a great night or great day if you're not watching the live, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I saw super chats. I'm lying. Let me go back up. Super chat from Jen 7173 said, "Thank you for your message. I really enjoy your show." Well, thank you for tapping in. We rock together, y'all. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go on that note. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.